All right. So we're getting ready to get into another lesson today. This one is going to be entitled Abominable Filth. Though I give it that title, there's slightly other things that this lesson may contain. So, without further ado, let's move right on into it. Starting with Proverbs 29 and 27. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. Okay, there. That explains a lot right there. An unjust man is an abomination to the just. If you know that you're a just man and you're trying to walk the straight and narrow path, these wicked people that are doing everything opposite of the scriptures, they're following Satan in Satan's kingdom. They're living the lie. They're abomination unto you. The word abomination, that's just in this context, it's just pretty much they're an annoyance to you. They're a disturbance to you. They're an irritation to you. They're just full of confusion, but though, which makes perfect sense, being that this is the land of confusion. And they're an agitation to you. They just agitate you. And he that is upright in the way is an abomination to the wicked. So, and pretty much that's just saying the opposite. He an abomination to you. You an abomination to him. You're not supposed to even be around the wicked. They're an abomination unto you. They're nothing but an annoyance and a disturbance. The unjust man. So it's hard. This world is full of people, and it's hard to just completely not be around them. But as much as you can, you want to try to not be around that abomination, because all they're going to do is disturb you and irritate you. Okay, let's move over to James 1 and 13. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither he tempted any man. So God cannot be tempted with evil, neither will God tempt you with evil. So you can't say, for example, lust. You want to fulfill the lust of the flesh. You can't say that God tempted you to do that. That was your own self. Ye were tempted of your own lust, your own desire. You want to go out and drink, smoke, lay up with somebody. You were tempted of your own flesh. That was not God. But in 14, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust. See, when you were tempted when you were drawn away from your own lust. Your own lust tempted you, not God. I'm sure you're familiar with the saying, the devil made me do it. There's also saying, God made me do it, but God telling you right here, I ain't made you do nothing. You did it with your own lust is what caused you to do that. It says, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. When you're enticed, you're drawn to do something. You're drawn away from your own lust to do something, which in this case means to fulfill the lust of the flesh. Verse 15. Then when lust hath conceived, after you've fulfilled it, whatever that lust may be, it can be either drinking, smoke. You were drawn to smoke. You were drawn to lay up with somebody. Then when lust hath conceived, then after you've done that, it bringeth forth sin. Now you walking around with this sin on you. And sin when it is finished, meaning if you don't confess and repent and don't do it again, you can't repent and then go back and do it again. You got to repent and not do it again. That's repenting. That's repenting. If you ask for forgiveness and do it again, you may as well not even repent. Because that's not repenting. That's not repenting when you go back and do it right after you've asked for forgiveness. And sin when it is finished bringeth forth death. So you walking around with this unforgiven sin on you. That's going to bring forth death. You're going to die a lot sooner than what you was already going to die. You may have was going to live up until 60, but you walk around all this sin, the Most High might cut you off at 30, 40. Okay, then let's move over to 1 John 5. First John chapter 5 verse 17. All unrighteousness is sin. It didn't say some unrighteousness is sin. You might hear people say the transgression of the law is sin. Though that is true, when you transgress if you transgress the law, meaning if you don't obey the law, you're doing unrighteousness. So that still falls under the category of unrighteousness. And it says here that all unrighteousness is sin. If you following the law, then you're not committing unrighteousness, because there is no unrighteousness in the law. So if you're following the law, you're righteous, and you're not falling under the unrighteous category, meaning you're not committing sin. All unrighteousness is sin. Okay, so that's just information I want to put out there for people who think that they can do certain things here and there, and it's even though it's not right, then they're not sinning. No, if it's unrighteous, it's sin. Just keep that in mind. Anything you do, if it's not right, it's sin. Okay. Here we're going to look at Romans chapter 6 verse 6. Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we shall not serve sin. Verse 7. For he that is dead is freed from sin. Right now, you can't help but to sin every now and then because you're in a body of sin. When you die, your spirit is freed from this body of sin. Your spirit is inside of this body of sin that has lust. You desire to lay up with somebody. You desire to eat whatever. Some people desire to smoke. Some people desire to drink. Steal. You're in this body of sin. You're gonna want to do stuff. But when you're dead, you're not in this body, and you don't have that urge to do stuff. And therefore, you're not serving sin. Being in this body, this body of sin, you're serving sin. You're a servant to sin. Let's look at verse 12. Romans 6 verse 12. Let no sin therefore reign in your mortal body. Reign means rule. Let no sin rule in your mortal body. This body of death. This body of sin. This earthly body. Don't let sin rule in it. Don't let it control you. Don't let it take charge. That ye shall obey it in the lust thereof. Let no sin therefore reign in your mortal body. Let no sin therefore rule in your mortal body, that ye should obey it in the lust thereof. You got people nowadays, they stomach get a little hungry, gobble, gobble, gobble. They get a little thirsty, gulp, gulp, gulp. They have the desire to reproduce. They in the bed with somebody, and whatever else lust they get, they're obeying that lust. They're serving that sin. The opposite of the scriptures. Now you see what? Now are you beginning to see why they're an abomination unto you? Abominable filth. Let's move over to Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 6. Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. So where you live, you right in the middle of the lies. You can't help it. You turn here, it's a lie. You turn there, there's a lie. You can't help it. Your habitation is in the midst of deceit. You right in the middle of the lies. Through deceit they refuse to know me, said the Lord. They refuse to know him because the deceit. This man got all this stuff set up to keep you deceived. All these distractions. Like the food. He got all these different food. We're going to get into that later on in the lesson. He got all these different dainties. These foods that he has. A majority of which being abominable foods. Through deceit they refuse to know me. The club. Satan's church. He have the demons coming through the speakers. He hand you a bottle of spirits. The lust could kick in and if you're a man that go to women, if you're women that go to men. Fulfill the lust thereof. It's Satan's church. You go to that club. Their habitation is in the midst of deceit. They're beasts. They're abominable meat eaters. We're gonna get into a little bit of that more in just a second. But how they are beasts and abominable meat eaters. You see, a beast is a non-human animal, and you have some beasts that are herbivores, and you have some beasts that are carnivores. These are carnivorous beasts, though they be in human bodies. Be not deceived. They're human beasts, abominable meat eaters. Why you think every store they selling meat? You can't even hardly find a store where they just sell strictly fruits and vegetables. They just gotta have some meat up in there. Some Popeyes, KFC, some and in the supermarkets. Meat. They advertise it on the TV. Meat. They put chicken in it. Look at all some of them. Open up a recipe book and just look at some of the menu. Just look at some of the recipes. It just gotta have some chicken, some beef, some pork. He just gotta put meat in everything. Why is it that you just gotta eat meat all the time? Abominable meat at that. Okay, we're gonna start this off in another lesson due to video limit restrictions. Okay, man. This is we really approaching a time where it's about to get really, really bad. I had the video recorded all the way up to about 14 minutes, and what this devil did was he turned off my phone and the video didn't even record. So now I'm recording it again because he turned my phone off in the middle of my last recording session, and now I had to record the video all over. So I left off talking about how this man is a beast and they're abominable meat eaters, and how everywhere in these restaurants he's selling meat. It just, I mean, it's not. It's almost. I'm gonna just step out on a limb and say there's no restaurant that doesn't sell meat. Even Olive Garden, a place where there's supposed to be. I mean, just look at the name, Olive Garden. Garden. It's a place where you would think there's only fruits and vegetables. He selling meat in there. Come get you some chicken. Come get you some beef. Come get you some pork. Okay, we're going to move to Genesis 1 and 29. Genesis 1 and 29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Your meat is fruits and vegetables. You're not supposed to be eating all this meat this devil is selling in these stores. This mystery meat, so to call it. You're not supposed. The Lord gave you fruits and vegetables for meat. Your herb bearing seed, that's your vegetables. You know, avocados, tomatoes, and whatever else, other vegetable has seeds. And every herb, every vegetable, and every fruit, peaches, cherries, mangoes. Every fruit, that's your meat. You don't need to be eating this devil meat. They're beasts. What is? Look at the dog. If you throw a mango down on the ground and throw a piece of steak down on the ground, what you think that dog gonna go for? He gonna go for that steak because he's a beast. He's a carnivore. Meat eaters. This devil. He's a carnivore. He's a beast. A non-human animal. Don't be fooled because he's in a human body. The Most High set his skin up to where you can look at him and you know that who the beast is. Because he wasted away. Wasted away is he. The flesh be half consumed. Abominable meat eaters. Okay, let's move over to Deuteronomy 14 and 3. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. The Lord said don't eat any abominable thing. You don't know what's in this food that this man is selling. You don't know you don't know what's in these packages. As far as beef, chicken, and pork. He has a global meat market called Meat Packing Co. They're just buying and selling meat. You don't know what animal that meat came off of. He could have taken a raccoon, skinned the fur off of it, cut the meat off of it. Then he dipped the meat in the bleach to keep you from dying from all the toxins that's in it. And then he dyes the meat red to make it look like a fresh red meat steak. When really it's raccoon. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the piggard, and the wild ox, and the camois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camel, and the hare, and the coney. For they chew the cud, but they divide not the hoof, therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divided the hoof, yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. I can understand if you had a farm where you were growing, not actually growing, but raising livestock, such as sheep, goat, ox, so forth, cattle. You can eat cow because a cow hooves parted and it eats grass. You can eat a cow, but there's a couple reasons why you can't eat it in this kingdom. For one, what he calls beef may not even be beef. He could have cut the dog up, bleached the meat, dyed it red, and put it in a package and call it beef. Tri-tip, chuck roast, or whatever else he calls beef. Or he could even be calling it pork when it's really in fact dog. You really don't know what you're getting because you did not see him cut that meat off of the cow. So therefore you don't know if it's really even cow. Like I mentioned earlier, I can see if you had a farm or somewhere, then that's how you know what you're eating. This man will do anything for you. Best to believe he will do it for a profit. He will cut up some dog and put it in a package and sell it to you for a profit. It's more profitable to him. Chicken. You don't know if what you're eating is really even chicken. Let's go through verse 9 and 10, then we're going to get to that. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters, and all that have fins and scales shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you. You know you're not supposed to be eating lobster. He opens up a whole restaurant and calls it red lobster. Clam, crab. They got gumbo. And he just put crab and every else abominable thing you think of in it. You know you're not supposed to be eating crab. The only thing you're supposed to be eating out of the waters is something that has both fins and scales. I'll tell you right now what you can eat. You can eat salmon. You can eat tilapia. And you can eat whiting. And I would not eat sway. That it doesn't have scales, and if you look at it, it look like a cat and a fish put together. Really, the earth is defiled. Nothing is clean. But if the Lord said don't eat it, you shouldn't be eating it. It's the reason why he's saying don't eat it. He doesn't have to break it down and explain to you why not. If you eat pig, after a while you start looking like one. You can eat anything out of the waters have both fins and scales, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else. No clam or nothing else. Let's move down to verse 11. And of all clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they which ye shall not eat: the eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the glede, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gier eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you. They shall not be eaten, but of all clean fowls ye may eat. Of all clean fowls ye may eat. Notice it didn't say chicken. So technically you can eat chicken. But the only thing about it is when you buy a pack of chicken wings, there's a lot of birds I just mentioned. Who's to say that pack of chicken, what you think is that pack of chicken wings, is not chicken? Who's to say that what you buy thinking is chicken wings turn out to be owl, or it turns out to be crow, raven, hawk, pelican, swan? You don't know. You thinking it's chicken, come to find out it's stork. You thinking it's chicken, come to find out it's raven or it's blackbird. You can eat chicken, but like I said, mentioned earlier, if you don't have a farm and you ain't raising your own chicken, you don't know what's in that package. That man could have caught a bunch of ravens, pluck their feathers, cut their wings on, put that in the package, and call it chicken. For all you know, it could be pigeon. That's an unclean. That's a flying rat. It eats out the garbage. You don't know what you eating in this stores. Now, if you get a piece of salmon, you can see them scales on that salmon. You know that's what that is. Or if you buy a whole tilapia, you can see both the fins and the scales. So you know what you eating. But you don't buy no chicken wings and you don't even know if that's chicken. Okay, now we're going to move to 2 Corinthians 10. But we're going to start that off in another video. Okay, here we're at 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, or the weapons of our warfare are not physical. We're not out there physically fighting this war. This is a spiritual war that we fight. This devil, he's trying to spiritually corrupt you. He's trying to cause you to lose your salvation. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. You're not out there with a shield and a knife fighting him. This is a spiritual thing going on. This is a righteous versus unrighteous thing. You know, he really wants you to get on that wicked side, so when that harvest take place, you can be left here to burn with the wicked. He don't want, when the harvest take place and the angels do the separation, he wants you to be on that wicked side rather than a just side. So he's trying to get you to do wickedness. But you just got to stay on that straight and narrow path, and you know the Lord will lead, God, direct your path, and he's going to keep you on that straight and narrow road. The weapons of our warfare are not physical, but they're mighty through God. Our weapons are real mighty. This devil does not stand a chance against us with the weapons that we have, because they're mighty through God. You pulling down these strongholds, like, you know, if you were a smoker, quitting smoking, quitting drinking, you pulling down strongholds, turning that music off. That's a stronghold that's being pulled down. Not trying to hook up with a woman every time you get the urge. That's a stronghold that you're pulling down. You're supposed to be trying to pull down this strongholds and overcome this kingdom, just like how the Lord overcame it. Okay, let's move over to Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This kingdom that you're in right now, this is not your rest. You're not supposed to be trying to get rich in this kingdom, trying to have it all like how this devil is promoting on the screen, on the TV screen. You know, he got the rappers and the cars and the women and the clothes, the money and all that. This is not your rest. You're not supposed to have all that here. He said, depart from all that. You're supposed to depart. You're not supposed to want to take part in that because it is polluted. It shall destroy you. This earth. Why would you want to be rich in Satan's kingdom? This is Satan's kingdom that we're in right now, and Satan is ruling. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You're not supposed to want to prosper in his kingdom. This is not your rest. When the Lord puts us in our land, that'll be our rest. Then you won't be worried about all the material things. Let's move over to Daniel 4:17. This matter is by decree of watchers, and demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man. Right now we're in the kingdom of men. Base men, to be exact. This is the kingdom of base man. And the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of base man. Though we be in the kingdom of base man, the Most High is still ruling in it. Just because you don't see him don't mean he ain't ruling. He is. And give it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of man. See, the Most High, he took Esau, which is this white man that's ruling the earth right now. Everybody know that he the one that got all the money, and he ruling everything. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And the Most High giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of man. The Most High took this white man, and which is the basis of man. Basis meaning bottom. He's the lowest down of man. Here, we're gonna get into how he's the lowest down of the man. We're gonna get into how he's the most low down man. And when you got somebody to take their own shit and eat it, they the lowest of man. They even worse than the beasts of the field, because the beasts of the field got the most sense than that. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man. This is the kingdom of base man. And he set it over the basis of man. This cracker is the basis of man. He is the lowest, dirtiest, filthiest creature. But he hides it. He puts up this smoke screen so that you can't see it. And it's not for everybody to see anyway. Because a lot of people, remember that Satan, he deceiveth the whole world. He got this whole world believing that he's just elegant. And when he really the basis of man, the lowest down you can get. He low down and he filthy and dirty. Let's look at Ezekiel 4. And this is we talking about the people who is in charge of everything. Because although you got some, some crackers in this kingdom, they may not be filthy, but spiritually they are. They come from they come from men who were base. Their fathers are base men. They may walk around. They personally may not be a dirty person, a filthy person, but spiritually they are. They're spiritual. This is a spiritual thing. You can't look upon the outward man. Okay, let's move on to Ezekiel. Now we really finna get into how base this man is. We're gonna get into Ezekiel 4:9. Take thou also unto thee wheat, and barley, and beans, and lentils, and millet, and fixes, and put them in one vessel. Put them in one bowl, and make thee bread thereof, according to the number of days that thou shalt lie upon thine side. So he said, take all that wheat, barley, beans, lentils, everything. Take it, mix it into a bowl real good. Whip it real good and make you bread. Make you some bread. That's the Most High saying, make you some bread with all that. And keep in mind, what they did then, they doing now. What they did back then, they're doing now. He said, make you some bread. All right, now let's move to verse 12. And thou shalt eat it as barley cakes. You gonna get all that, whip it all up. You know, then you gonna make dough. And you know how you put your dough in the oven? And you come out bread? Or you can bake a cake? He said, thou shalt make barley cakes. He said, and when you bake it, and thou shalt bake it with the dung that cometh out of man in their sight. So, this man making these bread and these cakes and these pies, come on now, he did it back then. He took the dung that come up out of man and baked it. He said, the Lord said, and thou shalt bake it with the dung that cometh out of man. He really supposed to be doing it in your sight. What you think the sewage system is? I once watched a video where in the sewage treatment plant, it's no longer on YouTube because they yanked it off. But there is a person, they did a secret tour of the sewage treatment plant. And I'm telling you, be surprised what they do in that sewage treatment plant. They treat the sewage, and to make a long story short, the sewage goes in one end of the machine, and when it comes out at the other end of the machine, it's in a container, it comes out in a clear container in balls. It'd be like little black balls in this clear container with a barcode on it. Now come on now. Who are you distributing these vials to? These vials, these little black balls with recycled sewage in them. I wouldn't be surprised if he's selling them to all these pastry companies throughout this globe, and they using it to bake their bread. If he did it then, he doing it now. Every time you flush the toilet, you making a donation to the bakery. Because he taking the dung that come up out of man and he baking bread. But cakes, pies. Where you think all this stuff coming from? The cakes, the pies, the bread, pound cake, cookies. He making it with the dung that cometh out of man. He really supposed to be doing it in your sight. The Lord said do it in their sight. But if he did it in his sight, then he wouldn't make no profit, because wouldn't nobody buy it if they knew that. So he doing it, but he not doing it in their sight. Okay. 13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat the defiled bread. The children of Israel, we know who Israel are. The children of Israel shall eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. The Gentiles is the heathen. This white man that's ruling the earth right now, he's a Gentile. He's the heathen. And you see him sitting up eating their defiled bread among the Gentiles. Just go to a bakery. They sitting up eating their donuts with this cracker. Go to a restaurant. They sitting in there eating their hamburger, their dog meat, with the defiled bread that come out of with the defiled bread that's made with the dung that come up out of man. They sit up there and eat their hot dog. This devil says chicken, beef, and pork. He probably done skinned the meat off some dog or something and bleached it and ran it through a machine and made a hot dog. And now you got the bread made with the dung that cometh out of man. They sitting up there eating they dog and dung hot dogs. Because the Lord said you're going to eat your defiled bread among the Gentiles. So he said, basically, in other words, you're going to have black people and you're going to have white people sitting together eating defiled bread. What's going on today? Just walk into a restaurant and you'll see black people and white people sitting among each other eating defiled bread. The black people are eating the defiled bread, which is the dung that cometh out of man, bread made with the dung that cometh out of man. They sitting up eating it among the white people, just like the Lord said. Okay, in 17, that they may want bread and water and shall be astonished with one another and consume away for their iniquity. You see how the Most High is? He said he gonna get that bread. He gonna bake it with the dung that cometh out of man, and they gonna consume away for their iniquity. The Most High sit back like, eat up. You want to sin? You want to smoke? You want to drink? You want to have sex? Eat up and get full at the same time. Fill your belly with that bread, with that made with that dung that come up out of man. For your consume away for thine iniquity. This is the Most High saying that. The Most High said, consume away for thine iniquity. You want to sin? You want to go to Satan's church and listen to music and drink and smoke and fulfill the lust of the flesh? Go right ahead. Grab you a cheeseburger while you at it. Go right ahead. But go get you a slice of pizza while you at it. You can party all night long. Just make sure you grab you a hot dog or two. With that bread that's made with the dung that come up out of man. Consume away for thine iniquity. We're going to start a new video in a new lesson. We're going to start the same video in the next lesson. He said, consume away for thine iniquity. They're going to eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles. Cakes. Pies. What you think a chocolate cake is? He take the, I mean, see, and then now you see why this ain't for everybody, man. This is the bitter truth. The truth is hard to bear. He takes that dung. Can you believe that? Now nowadays you see that this man is the devil. Now, if you don't see that this man is the devil, you are blind. You're spiritually blind. He don't want you to see that. He don't want you to know that. He deceived the whole world. They just sitting up eating stuff in their face with these cakes and these pies and these cookies. And all of it is made with the dung that come up out of man. See, the Most High said they're going to eat their defiled bread. But this devil, he takes it too far. Now he done just made everything with it. They even got a package of Twinkies in the store. And guess what the name of the package is? Boo Boo. You can Google it and look it up. It's called B-U-B-U. Boo Boo Twinkies. He telling you what it is. But he know the people so sleep they ain't gonna figure it out. I would pull it up right now. Let me see. It's called Boo Boo. Just type Boo Boo Cakes. Boo Boo Lubu, that's what it's called. Boo Boo Lubu. Here it go right here. Boo Boo Lubu. You see that? Boo Boo Lubu. And then they got a leprous beast on the package. You see that? The Boo Boo Lubu. And then don't it look like a turd? And it even looked like a turd. Boo Boo. If you don't get that, then you really are asleep. Boo Boo. And they shall eat the defiled bread among the Gentiles. Just like the Lord said. Let's move over to that's hard to bear right there. Let's move over to, give me 1 minute. That's Ezekiel. Okay, now we headed towards the conclusion of the lesson. Proverbs 23:1. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. Look, when you sit and eat, though you're not, back then they sat and actually ate with their rulers. Now you're not actually at the same table as these people that's in charge. The Lord said, consider diligently what is before thee. Consider diligently what is before thee. In other words, know what's in front of you. You're not supposed to they just put their napkin on, grab their spoon, or grab their fork or their knife, whatever they're going to use, and they just start eating. They don't even consider what's in front of them. The Lord said, consider diligently. That means really, really consider what's in front of you. Know what you finna eat. And put a knife up. And he said in verse 2, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given appetite. So if you just a person that love to eat and you don't care what it is, you just finna just stuff your face with it. The Lord says it's better for you to put a knife up to your throat. He said it's better for you to put a knife up to your throat than to sit up there and try to fill up on this stuff you don't even know what it is. Consider what is before thee. Consider what is on your plate. Know what you're eating. Be not desirous of his dainties. What are dainties? Dainties are things that are pleasing to the taste. Delicious. Don't desire his delicious pies and his delicious cakes that he take that dung and come up out of man and load it with sugar. Don't desire his cakes, his pies, his sweets. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. We already got into earlier how some of this meat is deceitful. Though he said deceitful meat, he called, remember, he in Genesis 1:29, he called herbs meat. So he calling food meat, in other words. They are deceitful foods. How are they deceitful foods? Because it's made with the dung that cometh out of man. You would think, how can people ain't dying because of that? Because it runs through a machine, so it probably heated up at 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. He probably do all add, bleach it to keep, because when you bleach stuff, you kill all the bacteria. So you bleach that meat, then cook it and eat it. You can pretty much bleach any meat. Because when you bleach it, you're killing all the bacteria off. You can take human meat, bleach it, and cook it and eat it and be fine. Because when he bleaches it, he kills all the bacteria. Now you know what you are not supposed to be eating. But that he knows, the devil knows that. That's why he bleaches everything. He said, for they are deceitful meat. They are deceitful dainties, deceitful cakes, deceitful pies, deceitful sweets. You're not supposed to be, you're supposed to know what's in front of you. You're not supposed to just open up that package and blindly eat. They're destroyed. The people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. I mean completely destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You're supposed to know what you're eating. They're deceitful meats. The hot dog, that's deceitful meat. You don't know what animal that meat came off of. Any food, Snickers. He loved Butterfingers. What's in the word Butterfinger? Butt. It came straight out of somebody's butt. But they don't consider diligently what's before them. They just open that wrapper and eat. They don't consider what's before. They don't consider what's in front of them. When you consider something, you ask yourself, what is this? Could this be fecal? Consider diligently. That means inspect it. Really, really know. You might Google it. Even though the only way you're going to find out is by getting into this word. That's the only way you're going to find this out. Because if he took the dung that came out of man and made stuff then, he'll take the dung out of man and make stuff now, which make perfect sense because he got everybody's feces going to one place. And then they got these sewage treatment facilities. What do you think they're doing with that sewage? You flush the toilet, all the feces go to the sewage treatment facility. That machine separate the feces from the whatever else you flush down the toilet. And then when that feces start coming out of that machine, it'd be like a little black ball. And you know they can put them little black balls in a big old pot and melt them down and turn that into like some chocolate. And he can take them little balls, put that in a big old bowl, heat it up, add sugar to it, call it chocolate. You never know, and you won't get sick because he done bleached it. Okay, let's move over to we're gonna conclude this lesson here. Proverbs 21:16. The man that wandered out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Okay, now you just got this understanding. Now if you go out and you wander out of this understanding, you go out and eat chocolate, you go out and eat beef, chicken or pork, you wandering out of the way of understanding because now you know that you're supposed to consider what's in front of you. And if it's a wing in a package, you don't know what animal that wing came off of. You're wandering outside of the way of understanding. You're going to remain in the congregation of the dead. When the harvest take place, you're going to be put on the wicked side. You're going to remain among the congregation of the dead, meaning you're going to be just as deceived as them. Satan going to be able to deceive you and get over on you. You're going to remain among the congregation of the dead. You're going to remain among, if you just, you're going to remain among the wicked, which is an abomination unto you. Annoyance, disturbance, irritation. They're an annoyance. They're in a disturbance. The congregation of the dead are people, dead are pretty much just people who don't have this understanding. The dead are the people who are spiritually dead. They're not physically dead yet. Right now they're spiritually dead, meaning they eating everything this man sell. They believe everything this man say. They're spiritually dead. They don't have this truth. They don't have any truth in them. They don't know the truth. They're deceived. They're dead. Hope you learned something from this lesson. Until next time. Amen.